There we go. I hope you guys can appreciate just how much I love chat interaction. What happened to Halo? Don't worry about it, okay? Don't worry about it. Would I ever want to vibe at Star Citizen? Nah. What if it was all just a dream? I'll never forget the day you abandoned us for YouTube chat. You guys didn't deserve my attention on that day, okay? Thoughts? Why would you ever just link me a tweet? What about vibing in a game like No Man's Sky or fucking Elite Dangerous? Those aren't really my type of games. Let's go! Why not just play Halo on an easier mode? Because I still have to focus. While I'm playing Fall Guys, there are like 2 to 3 second stretches where I can just look at the chat. If you're playing a shooter, you can't do that. And when you do that, it's very noticeable to the people watching that you're taking short breaks from paying attention to the game. It interrupts the flow quite a bit. What? Oh, yeah. Oh my god, I was the last person. Holy shit. What the fuck was that? Well, if I kept skidding down, I was gonna fall. Wait, Vaush, why were you able to play Resident Evil 7? I think Resident Evil 7 is a more gripping game, moment by moment, that I can commentate on and make jokes about. Whereas Halo, let's be real, is just a bunch of combat set pieces that are linked together by a flimsy story that people remember fondly because it was a really fun game at its time, but ended up spawning a bunch of genre tropes that ended up modeled newer games in a way that's really been to the detriment of the industry, which is the main reason why Doom was such a refreshing breath of fresh air come 2016, because it ditched all of the novelties and all the tropes that Halo mostly codified. At least that's my opinion. Can we get a recording of that? I mean, I'm live streaming it to a VOD, so yes. Gangstar, you like Fall Guys? New Doom just made me want to play Old Doom. Have you played Dusk? It's just games in that vein, you know, with the old school appeal. No! No! I got distracted. Abandoning Halo for the view count? I'm abandoning Halo because I like talking with you guys. You people are so judgmental. I just like interacting with chat. Parents, students outraged after Dallas school assignment lists Kyle Rittenhouse amongst Gandhi and other heroes. Interesting. Write about a modern day hero like Gandhi or Kyle Rittenhouse. I see. How can you simultaneously believe that both of those people are good people? Like, you realize that if the Kyle Rittenhouse types had been in India back in the 1930s, they would have been, like, roaming the streets finding Indians to kill, right? Like, that... The teacher misspelled both Gandhi and Malcolm X. Yeah, that about tracks. That's some good outrage bait. Go! What's the best Resident Evil game on PC right now? I don't fucking know. It's probably between Resident Evil 4 and the Resident Evil 2 remake. Yeah, how do you misspell Malcolm X? Did they forget the L? They definitely did. The list like that. Should have taken one. That was literally it, Vaush. Yeah, nice. Gandhi was a guy who slept naked with his family member. No sex, just sleep. Yeah, didn't he sleep with, like, his naked underage cousin because he wanted to show everyone else how dedicated he was to his vow of celibacy? Like, dude, I can sleep right next to this naked underage girl and not even fuck her, dude. Check out how fucking monastic I am. He was also underage at the time, I thought. Wait, did he do that when he was really, really young? I thought he did that when he was an adult. Yeah, I thought he was, like, elderly. He was, like, 7? Wait, what? I assume you mean 7D. Because a 7-year-old sleeping naked with an older family member to preserve a monastic vow. Little fucking Timmy from down the road. I can shower with my mom without even touching her boobies. Witness me! What are we doing? Grab a tail. Okay. Okay. Up, 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 up. Hey! Okay. We gotta keep the inside track. These idiots don't know. The inside track is the fastest of all race car routes. Reset, 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 reset. Why no more Halo? Specifically to irritate you, my friend. How does it feel to be bad? I'm above average at Fall Guys now, I'd like to think. That's not saying much considering the clientele, though. 30 seconds. Why did I trip there? I could have gotten a... Ugh. Well, whatever. We're winning anyway. No! Gimme! Whatever. Well, let me check if that debate opportunity ever responded. Oh, wait. They responded a while ago. Hey, I think they're about to call, like, right now, so I don't know how I'm gonna manage that, what with me being in the middle of a round, but... Ever thought about dropping the pretense just staring at chat while conversing with us? Well, my video game streams are basically just that. They're just chat discussions with, like, something to occupy your audio-visual stimulus. Fucking chicken! Fucking chicken! No! Whatever, I've got to call the guy anyway.
Hey, how's it going?
Howdy! You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Nice, how you doing?
Pretty good, how are you?
Doing pretty great. Some folks in chat, I remember, maybe it was a couple days ago, were saying that I should debate you sometime. So, I don't know if they were the ones who prompted you to speak to me, or if you had an independent desire to speak to me, but whatever the case is, howdy. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I actually got a message from some of my followers saying they talked to you and said you'd be willing. Give me 1 second. I'm setting up my stream stuff. If you don't mind.
Gotcha. You're not Twitch streaming, are you?
No. Wait, why?
Because I am permanently banned on Twitch. And I would not want you to face any repercussions for platforming me on your Twitch stream, if that is what you are doing.
All right, I will modify that. Yeah, I use Restream, so I stream to about 6 different sources at once. Twitch is one of them.
Gotcha. Not meaning to put you out or anything.
Yeah, no problem. I don't. It's not monetized, or I think they just got monetized. It's not a big deal for me. I get like 2 or 3 views, and that's about it.
Gotcha. Yeah, guys, this is TJump. Yes.
This is TJump here speaking.
Yeah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, guys. I am TJump. I have a YouTube channel called TJump. I have a chair, a very famous chair. I do debates and stuff, usually with academics and professors from different colleges.
I am being asked for your pronouns.
Supreme Overlord King, something like that.
Gotcha. I'm sure they'll be adhering to that in good faith over the course of the discussion.
For sure.
Do you play Fall Guys?
No, I haven't played video games in a while, other than just the free crap on PlayStation.
Gotcha. Clear your mind. I get it. No coming either.
Well, no innuendos there. All right. So my positions, things people wanted me to debate you on were like Black Lives Matter. I don't support Black Lives Matter. I think race is real, which isn't the same as race realism exactly, but I still think race is real. And I don't agree with socialism, communism. Pick whatever. What's your boat?
Gotcha. Okay, let's hit these in order. Why don't you support Black Lives Matter? Oh, wait, actually, before we get into that, how do you describe yourself politically? Like, what's your, like, if you had to, you know, write down for a census, like, what would you be?
Probably a centrist or something, not any of the current parties, because they're all crap.
Gotcha. I mean, hey, me too. I agree. The parties are crap. I have moved somewhat left of them. Okay, yeah, Black Lives Matter. Why don't you support Black Lives Matter?
I believe their foundational narrative that African-American lives don't matter and that African-Americans are shot disproportionately to other races is simply false. It's just a fiction, a myth, not true.
Well, they are shot disproportionately, are they not?
No, not disproportionately to the violent crime rate. They're shot about exactly proportionally to the violent crime rate.
Well, yeah, but that's disproportionately to the population.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's proportional to the violent crime rate, and that's what's important. So it would be proportional to the violent crime rate, or you would expect it to. You wouldn't expect it to be proportional to the population rate.
Well, you would want the violent crime rate to be lower. So the reason why it's disproportionate is because of whatever factors are causing black people to have more interactions with police, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So that would be one of the central problems, right? I mean, Black Lives Matter types complain about the over-policing of neighborhoods all the time. It's one of the big things they tend to complain about. It's clearly this issue of police and black interactions is downstream a larger set of socioeconomic issues. It's not on its own. It's not just like police are extra super duper mean to black people, though that is a thing that can be proved. That's not the only, you know, that's not the whole side of the story.
Right. So I'm not saying I'm saying it's not over-policed reference to the violent crime rate. So there isn't an over-policing in that one respect. I'd say it's proportionally policed.
Yeah, but why is the violent crime rate that high?
Bad policies from government throughout the past 200-300 years.
I don't disagree with that. But then shouldn't we be addressing that?
Absolutely. We should definitely address the policies. I think that is, if Black Lives Matter focused on the policies, like political policies and changing the way the education system is and healthcare and redlining and gerrymandering and all that crap, yes. But the thing they're focusing on, the idea that Black lives don't matter, that's the part I disagree with. I mean, the fact that most of, like, we know all the names of the African Americans who were shot by police, but there are twice as many white people who were equally shot, but we know none of their names. Like, the fact that focus on African Americans, even though and we only know the names of the African Americans, seems to run counter to their narrative that only Black Lives Matter. Well, really, it's only Black Lives Matter are noticed.
So the reason why they say Black Lives Matter is because it runs counter to the central narrative that they don't, which is kind of evidenced by the blasé attitude America has had for centuries now about the state black people in this country live in. So if you have a country where we are decade after decade after decade implementing policies which are pretty much all but evidently designed to fuck over black people are dying constantly in inner cities, we aren't providing them any educational or academic or whatever opportunities, and people just kind of treat this as the status quo. And then when black people do die to the police, it's always like oh, well, they should have done X different. The kind of underlying narrative there is that black lives don't matter, that this is their place and they're getting what they deserve. So the reason why this conversation has metastasized around the police so much is because that's a very weighty, morally heavy optical issue that you can focus on. But I take issue with your idea that Black Lives Matter types don't focus heavily on government policy, because I think for the most part they do. The police are just kind of the outrage element around which everyone else organizes, but it's about more than that.
Right, I totally agree that it is the outrage element, but kind of like Christianity focuses around this idea that Jesus rose from the dead. That whole idea is a myth. And if the foundational idea is a myth, that's the part I can't support. Like, I do support all of the other stuff they advocate for. I mean, I've gone through their list of all the policies they support, and a lot of them I do agree with. But that one, which is the focal point of the entire movement, because it is so emotionally engaging, is one I can't support because it's just simply false.
But it's correct. Black people are disproportionately shot by the police.
It's proportional to the crime rate. So that's the
but
part
if they're trying to address things to address the crime rate, then they are addressing the underlying conditions which lead to the disproportionate treatment. I mean, you can't... So it would be like... The reason why black people are getting shot by the police more is directly downstream of policies, like which you said were orchestrated in large part to fuck over black people. So when you're protesting against the disproportionate violence against black people, you're protesting against the conditions that led to that, are you not?
Sure, absolutely. But the part they're protesting is the cops themselves, and that's the part where I'm saying that isn't the correct thing to be protesting. Actions
they're part
by
of the
cops
problem,
and cops,
sure.
In some respects, yes. In some respects, no. Part of the problem that it is not is the amount of people shot by police. That part is exactly proportional to the crime rate. That's not representative of a disproportionate cops over policing or overshooting one group over the other. It's exactly proportional.
Cops are the agents who manage the interactions between citizens and the state for the most part, you know, apart from, I guess, DMV agent tellers, you know? Cops are always going to be the central focus of any movement designed to protest state injustice. That's always going to be the case. I think it's incredibly arrogant to throw out an entire, like, historical civil rights movement that focuses on a wide variety of social consequences just because it uses the exact same rallying cry that every march against oppression has fundamentally like targeted. The same thing happened back in Stonewall. The same thing happened back during the civil rights movement. To say that you wouldn't have agreed with the civil rights movement because, oh, well, sure, Jim Crow is a problem, but if you're going to talk about police violence, well, they're only responding to the laws that exist. They're or acting exactly as they should. It's kind of missing for the forest for the trees, don't you think?
Well, no, because in the civil rights movement, the police were specifically had policies that were deliberately racist, that did deliberately target African Americans. So that was literally one of the racist policies. Now it isn't as much the case.
Well, yeah, wait, marijuana policies today were the drug war was literally designed to fuck over black people. Like police or agents, a huge number of people that we have in federal prison and state prisons are marijuana convictions as part of a set of policies that Nixon admitted were part of an attempt to fuck over black people. Police are still enforcing that today. Just because on the books it doesn't say like fuck black people, it's like the actual outcomes are identical, you know? So the position here is the same as the civil rights movement, and the arguments are the same too.
No, they're completely different. So that's the difference is that in those time periods, the police were deliberately enforcing the laws to be racist. They were deliberately targeting African Americans to be racist because that's what they thought was right or something. But now that is not the case. Now they're just enforcing the laws that the government has in place. They're not being racist.
Wait, they did that back then
cops.
too. Wait, there were cops back during the civil rights movement who weren't racist. They were still enforcing racist policies.
Sure, but that was not the argument. So the argument is they are deliberately made policies to be racist. Now that is not the case.
No, that's still the case. The drug war.
The laws that were in place are still racist, yes, and we need to do something about that. But it's not like the cops are definitely enforcing these because they're racist.
Wait, but it doesn't. Wait, but that wasn't the complaint during the civil rights movement either. The people during the civil rights movement were just saying like, "Oh, the laws aren't the issue. It's the issue is that the cops are racist." Today and back then, the issue is the same. Laws are put in place to hurt black people. Police are the enforcers of those laws, so they will draw the attention. They will draw the ire. I mean, the arguments are identical.
Absolutely not. So again, there are no policies that are put in place that I know to hurt black people anymore. There definitely were. Now it's more just money based. But
the marijuana being a Schedule I drug was a product of a completely non-scientific attack on people of color.
Yes, from the past, not today.
But it's still in effect. The law is still there.
So again, that issue is the policies, not the police. The police aren't the issue there.
Wait, but the same was the case back during the civil rights movement. The police don't write the laws, they just enforce them. Same today.
In the civil rights movement, the police were actually a big part of the issue. They were the problem. They weren't just acting on
because they were enforcing racist laws.
Yes, deliberately.
Yeah.
So now that is not the case. Now police are not enforcing racist laws deliberately. It's not the case.
They are. Wait. Hold on. We've moved. The goalpost has moved so many. So during BLM and for the civil rights movement, the argument isn't cops are bad because they're intentionally knowing that the policies they're acting on are racist. The arguments are... That's
literally the argument.
No, the arguments are the policies are racist, the cops enforce those policies, the cops enforce systemic racism, so we don't like the cops. Same argument back then and now.
The cops are racist. That's the one that I'm saying, not so much.
Well, I mean, there is data to indicate there's a heavy degree of like... of bias that you can find in police officers when it comes to the actual enforcement of their duties. But even if it weren't for that data, even if we were just talking at the policies they enforce, the arguments are the same. It's not just cops are racist, it's cops enforce systemic racism. And they do. They still do to this day.
So again, the issue here is why are you mentioning the cops at all? Why aren't you just talking about the policy? So I agree that
they're the agents of the state who enforce all of this. They're the arbiters. They're the ones who actually come out here with the gavel, you know? They're always going to be the ones to get the flack if the system is unjust, because they're the ones who enforce that injustice.
No, I mean, like, the Occupy Wall Street didn't go on the cops. They were going on Wall Street, which I agree with Occupy Wall Street.
There was an anti-cop element to Occupy Wall Street, but also Occupy Wall Street was a disorganized clusterfuck of a movement that wasn't even principled enough to, like, meaningfully get anything done. I don't know how well we should be modeling our approach based off their example. But cops are, like, defenders of capital, so I would argue that cops are, because of their relationship to private property, still a problem in that respect.
What?
What?
Cops defend money. That's a good thing. I want cops to defend my property.
Well, I'm a socialist, so we'd have to do some unpacking there to
but that would be slightly different topic. So again, my only biggest contention with Black Lives Matter is the fact that they support this narrative, which is just factually incorrect based on the data. Like,
which is what?
African Americans are proportionally shot by police.
They are disproportionately shot due to a number of socioeconomic conditions, some of which are enforced by the police.
Right, but it's proportional to the crime rate.
But the crime rate is where it is because of systemic injustice, often because of the police.
And you shouldn't be talking about the crime or the
So your issue with BLM and the historic civil rights movement is that they have, like many other historic civil rights movement, organized their discontent around antipathy towards the police, an institution which has factually contributed to the oppression of the group of people they're trying to secure civil rights for.
No, I totally reject that analogy altogether, like most historians do. Like most of the people who you ask about the comparisons between BLM and the civil rights movement, they're not similar at all.
In the way I've described it, they are absolutely identical. Not. They're not even similar.
Absolutely not. So if there's actually a military force that is operating against you deliberately to hurt you, then yes, that would be a valid argument to make against the police. If the police are just doing their jobs and they're not actively hurting you.
They were just doing their jobs back in the 1960s.
They were actively hurting them. That was
They were
one of
actively
the
hurting them
biggest
by doing their
issues.
jobs.
No, they were actively hurting them because they were racist.
They were.
specifically did target
No.
them.
Wait, you realize how like far you've lost this conversation, right? In both cases,
No.
we're talking about an opposition to police because police enforce laws that were meant to hurt black people. They're identical in both cases. The intentionality of the cop when they enforce those laws is literally irrelevant. You could find me a BLM protester and say, what is the difference between a police officer who knowingly enforces a racist law and one who unknowingly does so, just enforces the law, just they don't know it's racist? You will find very few people who will say there is a meaningful difference there. The point of the normalization of the racist state apparatus.
That is the most important difference.
It's completely irrelevant.
It's like blaming a domino for falling. Like it's just doing what it's going to do. There's no intentionality.
It's happening either way. It's completely irrelevant.
That is the relevant issue. Like many people in Black Lives Matter say the police are racist. There is actual racism.
Well, they promote systemic racism.
So, no, like they're saying the police themselves are intentionally racist. That is the argument.
Many of them are, yeah. There's data to support that, but I'm just focusing on the systemic argument.
Right, and I'm saying I don't care about the systemic argument.
Right, then you don't care about the issues.
I care about the specific motivational argument that police are themselves racist.
Nobody focuses on this. What you're doing right now
is
you're avoiding having to do a referendum on the BLM issue by pretending that it's exclusively about people talking about the intentions of the cops. That is not what BLM is about.
I never said that. As I said at the beginning, there are many things about BLM does that I do agree with. This is just the one thing I don't agree with.
You say you don't support BLM. So clearly this issue hinges enough on you that you're willing to disavow support for the entire movement because you have invented a fantasy BLM where the intentionality of police who enforce systemically racist laws is the central driving issue for civil rights activists.
It's a central driving issue for BLM, which is lots and lots of quotes specifically of that.
All right.
Yes.
I don't think I'm going to be able to move you off that one.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to talk about race being real?
Sure. I'll just start.
Yeah, go for it.
I think that race is a word that is used by people to describe a physical difference in people groups based on ancestry, and that is a real phenomenon. It's just echoclines. People don't know it's echoclines. They don't know anything about echoclines. They're just see this physical difference in different groups and attribute it to ancestry, which is a real thing. It's not a social construct. And in that sense, race is real.
Sure, but why is Obama black and not white?
Because of the association of his physical traits and his ancestry?
Yeah, but isn't that arbitrary?
No, his physical traits are based on genetics, which are based on ancestry. I don't think that's arbitrary.
But he's half white, so why does everyone call him black?
Because the noticeable physical traits identify with that ancestry.
If you put somebody who looked like Obama in certain parts of Africa, they probably wouldn't identify as the same race. If they even have the same conceptualization of race.
Sure.
Do you think they would be incorrect objectively in making that assessment?
You could actually measure it by taking the DNA and finding the echocline and then find the correlation. You could find out who is right. Yes, I don't know.
He's 50-50 black-white. I mean, it's a coin toss.
I don't know how exactly you measure that, but you can definitely measure the echoclines. Echoclines are a real thing that we can measure and can trace the genetic origins to, and so you can find out which race one particular person would more likely fall into. And if there is one who's 50-50, that's fine, but it doesn't invalidate the rest of humanity, which is not 50-50. So having single outliers, even if there are single outliers, does not invalidate the concept as a whole.
But it's not a matter of outliers. It's that, okay, so first of all, when you say echocline, can you describe exactly what you mean?
Transitional shifts in traits through genetics from transitions across land masses. So as you get farther away, you get different genes.
Okay, so just gene expression.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so how do you determine how expressed a gene is and how different one gene's expression is from another expression of a same gene?
Echoclines are measured scientifically. I don't actually know the details on it, but it's a proven thing.
Okay, I know no scientist would ever say race is objective. That's the reason why actual biologists use the term clines now. Because what we use race for, generally speaking, in language, it's a reference to a collection of socially ascribed traits. That's the reason why people call Obama black, even though genetically he's half white. I mean, genetically he's as much half white as Destiny is. That doesn't change the fact that that everyone refers to him as black, all very agreed upon, because people are more willing to sort of adhere to the one drop rule. The idea that any amount of blackness in you makes you black, which is kind of a long-standing product of European hegemony.
No, it's just a description of the observable differences. So, for example, geneticists or biologists tried to define hippos as being more related to elephants when then we discovered through genetics, oh, that's false. They're actually more related to whales. The fact that people tend to use homology and what they're looking like to label a person of a specific group is just how human.
What do you mean by homology?
Physical traits that we observe. Things we look at and
but
see.
Physical traits that we observe, that's arbitrary. The categories we assign people in are arbitrary.
No, that's the part I'm saying is not the case.
No, it is. So hold on. When most people assign people to a racial group, it's pretty much entirely determined by things like nose shape, skin color, and hair type. Now, we have somebody like Barack Obama. Barack Obama, his skin is a mid-tone between white people and, like, very dark black people. If I were to find like a black guy from Africa and a white guy from Europe, I could mid-tone their skin and find Obama's skin tone, meaning that his skin color is a direct mean. It is the mean of those two types. But in spite of that, people will call him black in every white-centric country around the world. Even though all the physical characteristics we're looking at are a mix of both to equal measure, we will still call him black. And that distinction is an arbitrary one. That's a socially constructed one.
No, because all the other properties of him, like his hair color, his hair texture, his nose size, those all equally lean towards African-American. They're not 50-50 on every aspect. So there are, most of his traits do actually seem to be predominantly African-American. But even if what you're saying was true, and there is a person who is 50-50, that doesn't matter to the argument.
That is not true. No, wait, I can't. First of all, no, I've done a ton of biology read-ups because I had to prepare for a bunch of debates with race realists that never ended up happening because they were too scared to talk to me after they realized that I actually knew what I was talking about. The idea that biologists would say that there is a way to objectively measure the adherence to like a racial archetype in an individual.
Yes. Echocline, yes. The biologists would use the term echocline. Is there a way to objectively measure the racial genetic makeup of a person and relate it to echoclines? Yes, that is the case.
Africa is the most genetically diverse continent on the planet, and most of the people in Africa we would call black. Where is the central grouping for what it means to be black?
It's not. Black is just a generalization made by people. It's the echoclines that are specific.
Okay, but the generalization made by people are the race. Yeah, you just said it. Race is a generalization by people.
Yeah, all categories are generalizations by people. We used to categorize.
Race is a category. That's a social construct.
Hold up. So every category is made up by people, but there are categories that are real, like species, like all kinds of different categories. We used to categorize.
Wait, species is also arbitrary.
No, it's not.
Yeah, wait, how do you determine what level of differentiation suggests a different species?
Oh, you're right. We could place the difference anywhere, but the difference is real. Arbitrary. It is objectively real.
Yes, of course. The difference.
Place the difference.
Nobody's saying there's no difference between black and white people. We're saying the lines where we draw these categories are absolutely social constructs for species differentiation and for race. I'm not saying that there's no difference between black and white people. Of course, we can see their skin tones are different, but I'm saying that where we draw the lines, the categories, these are a property of linguistics, of collective psychology.
Right. I mean, all categories are drawn by our imagination. We could see none of them. We could see all of them.
Hold on. 1 second. There's somebody in chat who said something really dumb. Species is defined by what can interbreed. Lol. Nope. Have you ever heard of a liger? A lion and a tiger can breed. That is right. Yeah. Interspecies. Interspecies breeding is a thing that can happen. There are different species for different types of like squirrels that have like different ear shapes, and they can absolutely breed. Mules are literally interspecies products.
Ring species, you know how there's on a mountain you can have a bunch of lizards that all go in a circle and they can all interbreed with the one next to them, but they can't interbreed to the one across from them.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, for that, it is also an arbitrary designation.
Right, so the claim is that race, that property that we see differences between black and white people is a real property, and it is caused by some real thing in the world, genetics. Where we particularly draw the line is just, you're right, that's arbitrary based on our current understanding of science. And as we get more understanding, we'll probably be able to define it more clearly, but it's no different from any other scientific fact. Race is a scientific fact, which is why it's real. I don't mean it's real.
No, you just said contradictory things. Race is the social construct. The echoclines are a scientific fact. But race when people talk about race, they're not talking about like the exact like parts per million of melanin in your skin. That's a component of what people use to determine race. but that is not in and of itself race. Race is the arbitrary construct.
Race just refers to the fact that we see differences between black and white people. That difference is what we're referring to when we say race. Most people have no idea what that is. Before we understood genetics, we had no idea what that was.
And that's arbitrary, yeah?
Race. No, that's how science works. So
no, wait, you're going in circles right now. Yes, there are differences on average between black and white people, but if where we're drawing these lines are determined by people's collective awareness and not by some specific measurement of a given set of gene expressions, then people are using race as part of an arbitrary social designation, not as a part of some hyper-specific genetic delineation.
Again, exact same as everything in science. So take, for example, gravity. We called gravity like Ptolemy had a model of gravity, Newton had a model of gravity. They were both inaccurate. They were both not correct for their time period, but we still called them gravity because they explained the observable phenomenon. Stuff falls.
How tall does a person have to be before they're tall?
That's arbitrary. There is no measurable.
Yes, there is. We can measure people's height in inches. We have incredibly precise tools that can measure people down to a molecular level.
Yes, but it isn't referring to like a specific thing in reality. It's
it is. It's referring to it's referring to height. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is a measurable property. So how tall of a person does a person have to be before they're tall?
Tall isn't a property of species. It's just a property of individuals.
Yes, it is.
Doesn't work that way.
Wait, for sure it is. Wait, hold on.
So there are arbitrary properties and there are non-arbitrary properties. Like the weight of someone is a fact, but if they're fat or light is a subjective arbitrary criterion that humans have made up. There are different criterion. Some are arbitrary, some are non-arbitrary.
So wait, how tall does a person have to be before it's tall?
Tall is one of the arbitrary ones. I grant you on that one. So it doesn't not comparison.
How is it? Wait, how is it not? We have inches. We know how to measure the height of something. We can do it. We can do it objectively. We can do it whether it's in a vacuum or under the water or in the air. We can do it with height.
Again, there are some properties humans have made up which are arbitrary and don't mean anything. They don't correspond to anything in reality. Like tall. Tall does not correspond to something. It corresponds
to height.
No. It's an estimate of relative height to you compared to someone else. It is not a measure of height. There is
no. People will say X is tall. They're not saying X is taller than blank. They're just saying X is tall.
No, they're saying X is taller than whatever they reference to be their measurement of tall.
But I can go to a crowd of people and I can agree with people on who is tall and who isn't tall, like pretty definitively, regardless of any sort of like corresponding like comparison. So like,
I don't think that would work, but you can try it. But again, it's irrelevant because I grant tall is an arbitrary criterion we've made up, kind of like pretty or beautiful. That's an arbitrary criterion, but certain things are not. Like
you can measure face symmetry. Yeah, face symmetry corresponds very heavily to what people call pretty. Okay. So yeah, when does a person become pretty? Where's the ugly pretty line?
And I already granted tall and beautiful are both arbitrary criterion.
Okay, but you realize race is the exact same thing, right?
No, because race corresponds to something in reality.
Wait, tall corresponds to height.
No, tall is an arbitrary criterion we've made up. There is no tall. There isn't like saying tall doesn't mean anything.
And there is no white or black. There's just melanin and no shape. Wait, there's no such thing as black or white. There's just gene expression.
Very simply. Very simply. Aliens come to a planet. You tell them what tall is. They have no idea. Aliens come to a planet. They look at your DNA. They can tell you exactly where you're from.
They can measure you. Wait, an alien could come and measure you, and an alien could see your gene expressions, but you would still have to explain to them what black and white and tall are.
No, I didn't say anything about black and white. I said if you give someone their genes, they can tell you exactly where you're from on the planet.
That's not race.
That's race. That is it.
No, wait. If you want to bet if I Google race right now, it's not going to be where the place on the planet that your ancestors came from.
And race is the physical traits that we use that are based on ancestry. So it's a generalization of the ancestry.
That's ethnicity. Ethnicity is where we come from.
Okay, that's when people say race, what they're saying is there are these physical differences we see that correlate to your ancestry.
No, they're not. No, nobody's talking about ancestry when we talk about, again, Obama is half white. Obama is half white.
I already debunked your Obama example.
No, you didn't, because now you're talking about ancestry rather than just physical expression.
Right. I said at the very beginning, race is the physical expression we see that is tied to ancestry. That was the definition I gave.
Then we're not looking at ancestry. We're taking a look at physical expression, but Obama is half white.
Right. So I said that at the beginning. So we're looking at physical traits and saying these have a correlation to the ancestry of the person.
Yeah, and the height that you are correlates to whether or not you're tall.
Where are tall people from?
What? Wait,
Where
not
does that
all
tell us what it
arbitrary
is?
designations have to have a geological corresponding
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not arbitrary if it has a geological correspondence.
Wait,
So
no, wait, hold on. First of all, yes, it is. Second of all, people don't say race in reference to where you're from. You said it yourself. It's in reference to physical characteristics associated with ideas of where people come from. Obama is half white and half black. If you were to take a look at his genes, his ancestry would point in two different directions in equal measure. But everyone has agreed nonetheless that he is black. Not half black, half white, but black. We treat him black. He's our first black president. People aren't talking about he's in half measure from Africa and Europe. He's black.
I can know he has more African DNA than me, for sure. So
yeah, I can know when a person is taller than another person, but whether a person is tall is still arbitrary.
I already debunked your tall example.
No, wait, my dude. We're operating in crank territory. I don't know like how to address this. Like you're just wrong. By your own definitions, you're wrong. When people say race, they're talking about a socially designated set of attributes they assign to people's physical appearance, much in the same way as we can say a person is tall or short, and this corresponds to their height, which is objective. We can't definitively say when a person becomes tall. Our current conception of race is modern. It didn't exist 400 years ago. There were other conceptions of races that were no more or less epistemologically valid than our own.
Which is the same as everything in science. Again, what you're saying is, well, gravity isn't real. Gravity is a social construct. Like, no, it's not. There is an actual.
I never
real
said. Wait, no. Wait. The fact that you think gravity is a social construct in the same way race is indicates you have no idea what I'm talking about.
What I'm saying, gravity isn't a social construct like race isn't a social construct.
Wait,
so gravity is a real
genes
phenomenon.
aren't a social construct.
Right.
Race is. Race isn't just genes. It's what we perceive.
Race is the word that we use to define the phenomenon that there are differences between people groups. Gravity is the word we use to describe the fact that stuff falls. We don't know what gravity was 400, 500 years ago.
Wait, this is a linguistic distinction, not a conceptual one.
What?
Wait, listen. Where we draw the line for who is black and who is white is arbitrary. There are people who are 1/4 black, who are called and treated black, even though genealogically, if we were to open them up and take a look at where they came from ancestrally, they would be mostly from Europe. They will still be called black. What we determine to be black or white is socially constructed. The genes are real, but people aren't looking at genes when we look at other people. We look at physical characteristics, and it's on us to determine where those lines fall and overlap.
Again, that's equally the same for species, which is a real phenomenon. So that
but
doesn't
species
help
is arbitrary.
The way we label species may be arbitrary, but the species themselves are not arbitrary. There is an objective difference.
The species is the classification. Human classifications are arbitrary.
To the objective difference. Where you draw the line doesn't matter. There is an objective difference between birds and bats.
Yeah, and there's an objective difference between someone who's tall and short.
Okay. So, but that is, again, not referring to a thing in the world.
Yes, it is. It's referring to height.
No, again, it's not a thing in the world.
It's tall. That's a property of physical matter.
Species are not arbitrary. Like, this is why
we live in a three-dimensional universe. There are three axes along which we can measure the lengths of objects, X, Y, and Z. And one of those we generally classify as height. And that's objective.
No. But again, that doesn't in any way help your case, because if you grant that there are different species and you're saying, oh no, all species are socially constructed, that just makes you insane, because you're just denying facts of everything in science.
Nobody denies that there are differences between different animals. We acknowledge that the lines we draw between which animals are of different species are arbitrary. Any scientist would say this. If I could get a taxonomist in here, they would agree with me that you can do a lot of research and argument to determine which is not different species, but at the end of the day, it comes down to arguments that humans have to make.
Right, and there's a difference between there being a real phenomenon, which is what it means for the phenomenon to be real, is that there is an actual difference there, and where we draw the lines. Those are two different things.
But where we draw the lines is what race refers to. What you're saying right now, the argument you keep making is genes are objective, and I'm not arguing with you on that. But race isn't the genes. Race is how humans perceive genealogical differences. When most people use the
word race, they are referring to the thing that causes the difference between those two, which is the genes.
No, they're referring to the expression. of the difference between the genes.
Because that's what they can see. So they're saying,
but what if a person, what if a
person
person decided a person was black if they were 1/64th black? Like you could have 3/64ths white in your DNA and 1/64th black, and that would make you black. Would that be objective? Would that be so you could objectively say a person who's 1/64th who's 1/64th black is black, like the old octoroon laws they used to do in the United States of America?
No, again, your subjective interpretation is just a guess. That doesn't have anything to do with the facts of the matter, which is the gene expression.
That is, but people aren't looking at gene expression when they decide how long to lock someone up for, or whether or not a person, somebody they'd be comfortable dating.
Never said they were. So again, those are things.
That's race.
Race
isn't genes.
Race is a generalization people use to just draw a distinction.
Generalizations are arbitrary.
No, all science is generalizations.
Yes.
Everything is a generalization.
Yes, all forms of taxonomy and categorization are based on arbitrary human preferences. Yes, anything from speciation even to our laws in mathematics have fundamental underlying epistemological philosophy, which denotes some degree of subjectivity. Yes.
The words are arbitrary, yes. The way we use the words is arbitrary, yes. The things they refer to is not arbitrary. That's what real means. It's not the way we use the words.
Categorization is arbitrary, and a race is a category.
Yes, how we use words is arbitrary. The things the words refer to is not arbitrary.
Yeah, genes aren't arbitrary. Race is arbitrary.
Correct.
Race is the categorization.
That's what real means, is that there is a real thing there that it refers to. The way we use the word
tall is real.
A different word. No, because tall is not actually referring to anything.
It refers to your. Okay, wait. Okay.
Let me address this.
This is insane. Okay, address this point, then we can.
If I ask an alien what is tall, and they try to measure it, they're not going to measure inches or centimeters or height. They have no idea what you even mean.
Dude, you think if you walked up to an alien and asked them what is black, they would be able to tell you who in the world is black and white?
No, I'd say they'd be able to tell the differences between genes.
They'd be able to tell the differences between taller and shorter people. This is an unbelievable. Wait. This is an unbelievable level of cognitive dissonance. You actually are like at the point, and you can't. So if you walked up to an alien and you asked which humans are tall, they wouldn't know, but they could bust out a measuring stick and rank people by their relative degrees of height. They could do that objectively. And likewise, if you walked up to an alien and you said, hey, which humans are black and which ones are white, they couldn't tell you, but they could measure our gene expression to try to sort us on some sort of cline to determine our relative degrees of ancestry. These are identical concepts.
No, they're not.
Okay, I don't think we're going to agree on this one.
Tall is not something used in any type of scientific field to describe anything. There are lots of factors of genetics and echelons that are used to define things.
Wait, height is used in biology and in zoology to measure the respective development of species. It absolutely is.
What? I have no idea what you're talking about there.
Height is used if you talk to a zoologist, they use height as a measurement of the physical attributes of a being to determine, well, a number of things.
I don't think so. I have no idea what you're talking about there.
They record animals. There are field zoologists who study out in the wild, and they say this is the height, we measure this, and we use this to determine. This is how you determine speciation.
Tall is not. Tall is not a part of that.
Height, the height of an animal, or the length.
Height is good. Height is good. Tall is not.
Yeah, but you use its height, its measurement.
If by tall you just mean the measure of height, whatever that height is, and it's not a distinction between two different kinds of heights or whatever, fine. But when we're talking about actual race, which is a real thing, which does have
biologists don't use race though. Biologists use clines. These scientists would not agree with you on this. Biologists who actually make measurements based on human ancestry use clines, which are a broad spectrum of physical differentiation where they do not delineate harsh differences between what it means to be black or white.
Right, I never disagreed with that. I agree.
Then race is also not used by scientists.
Right, it's not used by scientists. It's used by everyday people to refer to a phenomenon which is called
tall. Okay, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Wait. It's okay. No, it's all right. It's okay. I'll concede this one to you. Do we are you still interested in talking about the socialism?
Sure.
All right. Not a fan?
Not as much, no. I think that the goal of politics is to decide who you can help and who you can't help, and is trying to differentiate between those two. And capitalism has worked really well at that because humans are extremely selfish, whereas socialism is
Humans
morally good.
literally evolved because of our unique ability to cooperate with each other.
Somewhat, not entirely.
No, like objectively, yeah. The most intellectually advanced species on this planet are the ones with greater degrees of one, environmental awareness, and two, social capacity. Our ability to protect each other and to differentiate our work skills led to us being able to conquer the planet. Not selfishness.
To the amount of resources. So it's proportional to the amount of resources. If you overextend and try and help everyone with, which will take more resources than you have.
Okay, but that's not an argument against human cooperation. That's an argument against poor planning. But humans are cooperative animals. If we were all selfish, we would not have made it this far.
Right, I'm not arguing against human cooperation.
Right, then then by the measure of most species on this planet, we're not selfish. Like most animals, like cats, you're born to a cat, you're a lizard, whatever, you just run off. You go do your own shit. Good luck, you know? You learn a little bit from your mom, maybe. Human beings form tribes. We're unique in that respect. I mean, gorillas do it too, I guess, but we do it better. I bristle when people call humans selfish, when the basis of our evolution was literally our ability to cooperate.
That wasn't like a measurement. That was just a generalization. It wasn't like specifically saying most humans are selfish or something like that.
You said humans are extremely selfish. It felt.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true.
Are you selfish?
Humans are extremely selfish. Yes. Are you? Aren't you?
I mean, I'm self-interested, but I like helping the people around me. That's what gives me pleasure. So by helping the people around me, I express my own self-interest.
Okay, well, I mean, the point of my argument wasn't the selfishness part. It was just that we can only help people relative to the amount of resources, and if we overextend the amount of trying to help people to beyond the amount of resources, which is what socialism seems to do, then that system is a bad system. Bad, whatever you said, organization or management or whatever.
Well, sure, but obviously, let's just not overextend. Would you be okay with socialism if we were able to manage our resource distribution?
Sure.
Oh, sure. Okay, then we aren't going to have an issue, because nothing I advocate for even comes close to unreasonable distribution of resources.
I have no idea what you advocate for, so I wouldn't have a way to assess that.
Oh, well, socialism is... Wait, do you... when socialism, what do you mean exactly?
Public ownership of corporations and means of production, something?
Yeah, collective ownership of the means of production by the workers, and also the decommodification of our economy, so we don't produce things to sell them. It's the two basic tenets. I tend to argue in favor of a transition to market socialism, where we seize the means of production, but we maintain some elements of the commodity form while decommodifying certain faculties that I think would be better run by the government. Like, you know, transportation, healthcare, that kind of stuff. But the firms that exist, while still being competitive in the open market, would be collectively owned by the people who work there.
Right, that would definitely qualify as something I would see as an overexpenditure of resources, the resource being human motivation. Like if, I think that the Republicans are actually right that people are very selfish in the reason they're doing things. And if you take away that extreme benefit of just richness, many of them won't do it, or they'll go other places, and that will, in fact, collapse the economy. Because
so you're saying capitalism relies on people being tricked into believing there's a statistically likely chance of them being able to make it?
Sort of.
Oh,
yes.
That's horrible.
That's why casinos exist.
Yeah, casinos are one of the most exploitative forms of business around. They're terrible. Like, we have laws against them.
Yes, I agree. But they motivate people, and that's why, as an economic system, it keeps things going. It motivates people.
I have to say, you're not coming out of the starting gate with like a really strong argument in favor of capitalism. So capitalism is good because it tricks people. It emotionally exploits them into believing they're capable of making it when they actually aren't. It's like the system's rigged against them. But you trick them, and they just... We're missing the end part here. They lose all their money and they starve to death, or they die in a gutter. Like, that's the end.
No, they keep the society going. So the reason, I mean, I agree, capitalism isn't moral for sure. It's like religion. It's just a lie that keeps people going, that produces value in the society, keeps people going to work every day because they hope that they're going to get more, even though many of them won't. And that motivation keeps the economy going, keeps everything growing to some extent, allowing us to have at least that level of value in life. Whereas if you don't have that, then everything dies.
What if we just let people and manage their own environments, so people don't have to be tricked into like a doom cult to continue pushing society forward?
Most people lose motivation and they won't do it.
But the data doesn't seem to indicate that. People lose motivation on their own projects?
I I don't know what you mean by that.
Well,
Yes.
if you're cooperatively owning your workplace, it's something you now have a direct stake in. The company's profits are your profits. Your failures, the company's failures are your failures. You have a direct incentive to manage things appropriately. It becomes your project, your own little slice of the pie. Wouldn't people be more motivated to work if they knew they would actually benefit from it, as opposed to the hundreds of millions of wage slaves out there who know they don't have to give a fuck as long as they don't get fired because they aren't needed. They're just filling a slot at a till somewhere?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we see lots of examples of that where people are given rights, like, for example, in South Africa, where they reallocated farms and things to African Americans. And even though they own the property, it didn't make it succeed. They all died. Like all
that was
the
because
farms.
they took the wealth and knowledge away from those areas, not because... Wait, are you saying they all died because they lost motivation? Like wait, I'm sorry, hold on. They were like... Wait, I'm sorry. So you're saying they were like slaves, no. or they were apartheid servants, and they took control of the farms, and then they died because they were too apathetic? That's your that's your socioeconomic analysis of the...
No, that's the overextension of resources thing. Like, if you give them the farms and they don't have the knowledge to do it, that's a resource that you've overextended.
What resource?
Knowledge is a resource.
Wait, but we're not talking... When I talk about seizing the means of production, I don't talk about, like, burn all the knowledge of company operation and then throw the ashes into a river. I'm talking about the people who work there taking control of the place they work at. So the knowledge isn't the gap.
I still think that would be one of the gaps, because one of the major roles of the leadership is to have a vested interest in, like, controlling stuff and owning things and doing business deals and stock market things.
The owners don't know anything. The managers do, and managers are workers.
Okay.
Like, the owners are dumb fucks. People who own companies don't know shit. They follow stock trends. They, like, make big decisions about, like, corporate, investments. But when it comes to the actual management of the company, the day-to-day operation, people who own most large businesses, they don't know. They just own the place. They don't work there. Let the people who work there make the decisions. Wouldn't that be better? They have much more on-the-ground knowledge.
I'm talking about, like, Bill Gates and the guy who made Apple, the people who are actually doing the work and building the company from scratch kind of people, not just the people who happen to own it because they have lots of money.
You think Bill Gates is the one doing the work right now? Like, when Windows 12 comes out, it's going to be like Bill Gates is the one who coded it?
He built up the company from nothing. That was the point. And many of the reasons
he was
because
a worker.
of the success. Yeah, and he owned it.
Yeah, and now he just owns it. If he's not doing work, then he's not producing anything. He's just sitting on his ass and owning it, while other people do the work. And other people did work in Microsoft, by the way. It was the myth of, like, Bill Gates single-handedly. This is like the Elon Musk thing. Like, no, there were people for all the way from the beginning who were helping as well. It's not eulogized capitalists.
No, the beginning was him in his garage, but there were lots of people that helped, for sure.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's my point. I mean, Windows would not have been what it is without the help of all the people who helped him. So
sure, but again, the point is that when you globalize a company or whatever, it does not seem to do as well overall.
Wait, what do you mean? By what metric?
Looking at the historical account of the companies that do that and they don't succeed.
Wait, what do you mean globalize?
Looking at all the examples globally.
What happens to these companies that leads to bad outcomes?
Lots of different things.
But wait, I'm talking about workers seizing the means of production. So I would agree that, like, a fire at headquarters would be bad, but I don't know if that's an argument against...
Oh, it's just an inductive argument. It says, when you do this with companies, the company seems to fail at a higher rate. Give the ownership of the company to the workers instead of just, like, CEOs or whatever.
Based on what data?
Based on the fact that what's happened to all the companies that have tried that?
No. I have data on worker cooperatives. Ones that are owned collectively by the workers are more resistant to price shocks and significantly more likely to survive their first 5 years of business. Additionally, the right of first refusal, while businesses that go under have the option of being sold first to their employees rather than being sent back to the banks, has actually shown to be an incredibly promising way of keeping the apparatus of a business open once you get the dumb fuck leadership out of the way and let the people who actually work there take control of the reins. Like, what I've never seen any data indicating that, like, giving corporations over to public control of the workers makes them perform worse. I've just never seen data that indicates that.
A number of papers on that I can give to you for sure.
Sure, I'd like to see that. Now, mind you, government control can end up making it worse, but that's not changing who own. That's not changing it to seize the means of production. That's just changing who owns it. So that's not a. That's not a. What I'm advocating
if
for.
the government gives the ownership to the workers, that would still qualify, right?
Sure, if it's collectively owned by the workers, yeah. But if the government owns it, that's just a new CEO.
Okay, but as long as the government gives the workers the over, that's would still qualify. So fine.
Yeah, sure. I mean, maybe there are some like ways where it's done really poorly that I disagree with, but in terms of its like general implementation, I've never seen any issues.
Seems to be much harder to implement than what you think.
It can be difficult, yeah. Mostly because the business owner doesn't want to give up the property, you know?
I mean, specifically after that point, when you're trying to organize the success of the company, after giving ownership to the people, that's where the more difficulties seem to pop up.
I just haven't seen that. But why would it be harder? Now the people who actually work there get to manage the place, not some distant bureaucrat with a fuck ton of money who wipes their ass with silk.
Right, I'm not talking about the bureaucrats. I'm talking about usually the people who started the company. Those ones, as them owning the company and making all the decisions, is usually a more efficient way to run a company.
I feel like this is conjecture.
Sure, I'll get you the papers on it.
Sure. Yeah, I would need to see that. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds fair.
Even if it's not, we're not talking about a matter of like efficiency. I still think it's more ethical for businesses to be owned by the people who work there. I would even be willing to accept a small trade-off in efficiency for the...
I agree with you on the moral statement. I think morally it's right to give everyone equal rights, essentially. I just don't think it's pragmatic.
Okay, fair. Well, I'd have to see your data then, because it definitely conflicts with what I have seen. So, assuming that it could end up being efficient if implemented, you would agree fundamentally with the precepts of market socialism to distribute ownership of private firms to those who work there?
If it could be demonstrated to work, it would be better for sure.
Cool. All right. Awesome. All right. It's you know, it's a conditional agreement, but I'm happy to hear that. Then I guess as you go further down the line, you'd get communism and whatever. But I imagine you'd agree with that too.
I'd go even further than that. I'd say that I wrote a moral model, and my model is the idea of the best of all possible worlds. Give everyone everything they want, essentially, and that would be the height of what you could do if we could do it.
Hey, we're getting there.
Yeah, if we had the resources, I'd be all for it for sure. So that's why I definitely see socialism and communism as a more moral ideal. I just don't think it's pragmatic with the limited resources we have.
Gotcha. Well, at least when it comes to the seizure of the means of production, you're not taxing existing resources any more than they currently exist. You're just changing who owns them.
Well, I'd consider that a resource, like the intellectual motivation, ownership of the company, the people who lead it. I think they do count as a resource.
I mean, I think they're a shit resource then. I don't, just from the data I've seen and from the experiences that I've had, I feel like a lot of owners, especially of larger corporations, are incredibly out of touch with the actual operation of their company. That's why they delegate so much. And most of what they do is maintaining good social relationships with the CEOs of other companies and the owners of other companies. Because that like greases the wheels of business. But when it comes to the actual operation, like they could be replaced with like a cocktail waitress with like a big rack, and she would be doing their job probably better than they could of keeping people nice and happy while other people actually run the company, you know?
I would disagree with that. I think that you're underestimating how
much cocaine you have to be able to take to be a business owner in modern America.
Much, but I think that more important issue is that social hierarchy thing. I think that is a big issue, or big aspect into the success of socialization in companies and any type of group social dynamic. Like you need those leader people to guide whatever as one of those like stupid motivation things that capitalism uses to get people to do the work. I think that having those leader figures, whatever they are, even though they're terrible, is an important aspect in human psychology to get them to motivate to do the work.
Sure, yeah. I would just like we can still have management, of course. I just don't think that needs that you need to delegate to management the ownership of the entire, of the entire firm. But all right, okay. I feel like we actually hit on those topics faster than I expected. I usually get hung up harder than that. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about? I appreciate you coming on, by the way.
Oh, thanks for having me. I enjoyed talking with you. No, I think that was the major topics.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on what's the term? It's not short notice,
Short
but
notice?
in an immediate, like when I message you.
Impromptu?
Yeah. Oh yeah, impromptu. Thank you. Yeah, you're yeah, feel free to if you'd like to shout yourself out or anything.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I did want to mention that because this was impromptu, I didn't have the resources on hand. Normally, I get all the papers ready before the debate, so I'm sorry I didn't have those ready at the time. But yeah, thanks for having me on. Really enjoyed talking with you. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/TJump. Check me out.
Thank you. Yeah, have a wonderful day.
See you later.
Bye. All right, go team. I feel like I nailed that. Give me. Just hate the discussion. You did good though. Yeah, it's important to have. I just like his position on race was literally the SpongeBob wallet meme. Yeah, a little. I had a subjective scientific anti-realism. Dude, the funny thing is, I actually do subscribe to scientific anti-realism, or at least a lot of what I've heard of its tenets. God damn it! Do you have a research doc for the worker co-op thing? No, I don't. I deleted that segment because it was outdated. It was the first thing I ever added. I need to add a new one. Hold on. You were wrong in that debate. Tall starts at 6'2". YMS and YouTube chat might want to join. Okay, hold on. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Lot of stuff happening. Howdy.
Hello, hello.
Howdy.
How are you?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm doing decent. Doing all right.
Nice.
Been busy. Got film festival stuff still happening. But,
The Sundance?
No, Sundance is January. So that was like, I was actually there physically before COVID. But there's film festivals happening online that would normally be held in person. And I'm just lucky enough to live in Canada because there's 3 in a row that are really good film fests that are all Canadian.
Yeah.
And because of distributors being, I guess, cautious about the whole online thing because of piracy, all you need to do is record it and it's out there. Because of that, there are certain restrictions placed on the films and the way that they're viewed, so they're geo-locked to Canada. So Fantasia, Toronto, and Vancouver, Fantasia being Montreal, are all film festivals happening this month that I'm able to catch because I live in Canada, which is nice.
Well, nice. Okay, that sounds complicated, but I think I get it.
It's very complicated.
I remember some kind of restrictions being placed. My father works in Hollywood, and I remember restrictions being placed on movies that would be sent to him for free as preview for theater releases from the Visual Effects Guild. So, yeah, okay, I guess I get that.
Yeah, yeah, it's been fun though. It's like this small, tiny tidbit of almost normalcy during COVID. I'm like, oh, I'm at a film festival, kind of.
It's never going to end.
There's pros and cons, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I love the environment of a film festival. I love being there in person, but I don't have to wait in line. I can just watch one movie after another.
Yeah, in your gigantic home setup, no doubt.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready for you to invite. I wish I could.
Okay.
I feel like a complacent little baby, but I haven't figured out how to do it just yet. So
yeah,
I'm just.
I just started up the game.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
They got rid of the hackers.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard it got updated.
There we go. Yeah, it got updated. They also have a they also added some changes to some maps and some more swinging hammers. So it's all.
Yeah, I heard about the big Yeetus.
It's 15% more delightful. Okay, coming in. We're heading in. Oh, how do you? What's your opinion on this movie controversy that has gripped the nation?
Yeah, I already know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was actually, I was actually thinking of. I just recorded my podcast on Monday, and I was thinking like, yeah, maybe we'll talk about it then. But the other 2 co-hosts were like, nah, because none of us have seen it, right? None of us have seen it. But by the way, you have to press ready to start the game.
Thank you.
But I feel like I've seen enough clips from it and enough perspective from it to basically know what it is. And I've also seen a lot of indie French movies.
Yeah.
Right? That's something that not a lot of people could say. Do I think the movie is good based on not seeing it? Obviously, I have no interest in seeing it. Nothing to do with like the whole whether or not the debate on whether or not it's like exploiting girls, right? It just looks like a boring movie otherwise. I've seen enough indie French movies, and there's a lot of great ones, don't get me wrong, but this seems like one of them that it's just like kind of meh.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, as to whether or not it's like exploitation of young girls, I think that's a fair argument. I totally understand where people are coming from. It's probably not a good idea, like even if you're making the argument that it's like the context of the movie is like, yeah, it's against exploiting children, you should probably not do that anyway. Right?
Yeah, I think whether or not...
Like PETA doesn't make documentaries where they themselves kill the animal.
Yeah,
like they film other people doing it as an expose.
To fully simulate the horror of animal abuse, we are building our own death camp. Right. Yeah, I think so I've seen some people say it's defensible, and I think it really comes down to how much you're willing to look past the presentation to say like, oh, well, the actual message is about not exploiting children. But and without having seen the movie myself, I can really only go off clips that are made to make it look as bad as possible.
Do you think that the gender of the director plays any part into what perspective people have on the film?
I think most people don't know.
Because a lot of people are saying like, most people don't know?
I think most people don't know.
I feel like at this point people have like looked into it because people are like aggressively trying to like get to the bottom of this cuties thing, right?
I think I'll say this: if it was a male director, this would have been much worse. I think a lot of people are way more willing to assign charitability, and the fact that even with that charitability, things still turned out this way is like, I can't imagine if it was like a guy who tried to do this. He would be like, there would be like death squads marching through the streets.
It's really iffy.
Yeah,
like it's certainly not a movie that I would ever think of directing. You know, even if it's like, oh, this is an idea I want to communicate, it's like I wouldn't do that in a movie. Like, there's other examples too, less egregious ones, where I've kind of felt the same way about it. There was a film called This Is England, which was a really great movie, and it's kind of like this coming-of-age story, and like some little boy is like basically he finds like a new friend group, and they all turn out to be Nazis, sort of thing, but he doesn't know any better because he's younger. It's a really great movie, a British movie, and it has like a TV show after the fact that I haven't seen yet. Anyway, there's a scene in the movie where like a woman who is clearly an adult is basically making out with this child actor, and I'm just like, yeah, I get it in the context of the movie. It's supposed to be like, yeah, this is gross, this is bad. But at the same time, it's like, I couldn't imagine being a director, like just putting myself in the perspective of somebody on set and being like, okay, you two kiss. Like, you two make
18.
it. Like, the perspective of ordering, like, sure, they're getting paid or whatever, but saying like, here's what you should be doing. And also keep in mind the context of like child actors. By the way, I got eliminated. I got.
Oh, wait. Oh, no. Are you good with me continuing?
I mean, you can keep going if you're in it. I'll just watch you. Okay. I forget your number though. But yeah, I think the important context also to consider here is that child actors, whether they're being put in compromising situations or not, are usually not, like vast majority of the case, are not acting in the first place without being like pushed into it by their parents, regardless of like who they are, how successful they are, or what kind of roles they're taking.
But it's so almost,
that's another thing to consider.
It's almost like a necessary evil, though, because you can't, because otherwise, like for cinema, you just would never have children.
Yeah,
ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I agree with you there, but like, but that's why I almost feel like it's probably a good idea to make extra considerations as to, I guess, like not only the comfort level of the kids being involved, and from what I've heard with Cuties, like the director was like, oh yeah, making sure everybody's comfortable with this, blah, blah, blah. But like, I don't know, I guess the real argument would be like, when these underage people grow up, what is their perspective on this experience going to be, right? And so I think that's where a lot of the concern comes from.
Yeah, and I sympathize with that. I don't know if this was, I don't know if you had this as well, but I mentioned this in chat the other day. I noticed a lot of them said this had also happened to them. In middle school or high school, they were shown an adaptation of Romeo and Juliet, which at one point shows the naked breast of Juliet, who's being played by a young actress, I think like 15 or 16. And when that actress, when the movie was released, she tried to go see the movie, and she wasn't allowed to because she wasn't old enough to see her own nudity on screen. And it's
That's
interesting.
Funny.
And I think, and of course, the argument here isn't like whether or not like seeing a boob hurts people who watch it in school. The question is like, as a girl, like as a 15, 16-year-old girl, you know, how much agency do you really have when it comes to your decision to get into acting? And how are you going to feel about the lifetime of knowing that people have that on you? That people can say like, oh, I saw your 15-year-old tit. And that's like a thing you can never undo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's like, I'm willing to be nuanced enough to say that there's a large possibility that the filmmakers did not have malicious intentions making the film, but I still do feel like, you know, best case scenario, they're fucking stupid. Like, it's probably something that they just should have not done.
I do think that when the people are talking about this, like, this is like the world's most convoluted scheme to do pedophilia, is to make a movie where the actresses...
you could probably just do real child porn.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea that this is being done out of some deliberate malicious effort seems a little dumb to me. It's just more like the degree to which we're normalizing it or almost celebrating it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, one thing I'm confused about is, like, again, it's a French movie. Europeans are generally less disturbed by, you know, any range of sexual ideas happening in movies regardless. The question I have is, like, whether or not the film was trying to be controversial. Because based on, if you look at, like, again, one of the larger talking points about this is the poster, the original poster versus the Netflix poster. And it would seem like the marketing of the original French film was not necessarily trying to be controversial.
Yeah, which they were all like
whereas
walking
Netflix
together.
kind of like got the wrong idea and was like, hey, controversial marketing, right?
Yeah.
And they screwed themselves over by doing that.
That's not the director, though. That would have been Netflix trying to... What the fuck were they thinking,
Yeah, exactly.
by the way? But yeah. The original...
Oh, yeah, bad idea.
Yeah, the original poster
well, because, like, they
was,
think in numbers, right? They don't think about things like a normal human being. They think, like, what's going to get more clicks?
Yep.
And then
this
it
has
did.
clearly gone, like, very far beyond. We have Congress people talking about it on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, this, you know, if it was an American male director, it would probably end their career, but I think that this director is probably going to have a career because of this movie.
Yeah.
Like, she's going to be able to say, like, oh, yeah, controversial director. And you know what? If her next films are not, like, able, you know, if they're not based on little kids twerking, then...
Maybe, yeah.
You know what? If her next movie is great, fuck yeah.
Most of the reception or most of the online discourse here is being dominated by Americans. I don't actually know what, like...
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, the French have to say about this. This is really one of those, like, in concept, in practice sort of things. Because what happened in the movies, I assume, would have been fine if it was done in a book. Like, if there was a book where you describe a scene where, like,
like the end of Stephen King's It.
Well, okay, but they didn't do quite
Kid
as
orgy.
Yeah, of course. But not to the extent we're seeing right now, right? Like, you can get away with more because there aren't real child actors being...
Yeah, I think that's where the controversy comes from, is not like, oh yeah, you're communicating this idea, but hey, at the expense of communicating this idea, you kind of made it happen in real life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. If it was done... if it was done animated, I'm dead, by the way. If it was done animated, then I have it on good word that a lot of the people attacking it online, conservatives, would be defending it. Because I tell you, you go on 4chan, talk about cuties, they get mad as fuck. You talk about lolly hentai, these motherfuckers these are the world biggest fans of that content.
I know. Yeah,
one of the,
that's anime.
Yeah. One of the things that really bugs me about this is like child sexual abuse is a real problem, like a very real material problem. A lot of the people who are talking about who do this like Europedo accusations online, none of them give a fuck about children at all. It's just a very easy moral talking point. They never ever talk about substantive.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, it's just like, for example, I know people on social media who downplayed the rape of children in our border camps, the ICE border camps in the US.
Oh yeah.
But are hardcore virtue signaling about cuties. And it's like, oh, okay, I mean, when it happens in real life, I guess no big deal, you know? Maybe if they had filmed it and made it a documentary, you'd be mad. It's a little frustrating.
I agree with the sentiment that the way they filmed this movie, and to the extent of which there are so many scenes of literally just zoom in on young girls' crotch and watching them shake their ass or whatever, I agree that that's not something you should do. I wish that people were as aware as they are with this as something like Nestle using like child slave labor or something.
Yeah, agreed. I think
that's been going on for
if you
a bit,
tokenize
right?
the discourse too much, if you hyperbolize it, and if you reduce it to a very symbolic argument, but not like one which involves policy prescriptions or a discussion on real-world issues, you run the risk of trivializing the real consequences of child exploitation while arguing about how bad it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, anyway, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. I think this is like kind of a broader statement on just how accessible Netflix is, really. Because if this movie easily could have existed and not been on Netflix, and there would be no controversy. But because it's on Netflix, and so many people are just like,
that makes it a big platform.
You know, like they see the thumbnail. So many people are just surfing through it that it gets exposed to so many people that it becomes this controversy.
Yeah, I mean, Netflix is a huge platform, of course. Wait, do you think that if there were a bunch of other like French films that you've seen, like French indie films, that if they got a big Netflix release with a similarly bad sort of PR right off the bat, that it would have led to a similar controversy? Is this like a common thing?
It's not like I've seen a lot of films like Cuties, but seeing enough French indie films, I'm not surprised by the existence of Cuties, sort of thing. Okay. I don't think I've seen any that have gone necessarily that far in terms of what people are upset about. But I mean, like, there's a good amount of European films that are, you know, that have been like sketchy in ways kind of like that.
Yeah, okay.
And also remember, how do I keep getting eliminated on this one?
Wait, what? You died? Okay, I'll leave then.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just been like, oh, thanks. I used to have this one down. Like, I don't know. There's also the context of like, there was like, Lolita was a movie. It was two movies. It was a Stanley Kubrick and then a remake with Jeremy Irons, right? So it might just be like a time thing. It might just be like what decade it's made, but I don't know.
Well, Lolita, like, I don't think Lolita goes
even
anywhere
then. It's
near
like
as
not
far.
even really comparable.
I don't think Lolita goes anywhere near as far as adopting
that's
the
just
aesthetics.
An idea.
Yeah, the aesthetics of what actual child exploitation looks like. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's where Cuties kind of stands out.
Are you
like
still
there's
spectating?
Plenty of movies. I'm trying to quit.
Gotcha.
I have to wait for the. There we go. Up. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I've seen enough reviews on it on the internet, but I'm just like, it's not a movie I would want to watch either way. Like, I understand both sides of the argument. I get it. It just doesn't look like an interesting movie to me. I have to be really selective about what I watch.
Okay, fair enough. Oh, well, yeah, you have to watch every movie, or a great number of them. I imagine you have to be a little selective about what you're dedicating your time to. How many?
Yeah,
do you
there's a lot
like
of French movies that look like that in style, is what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
In style and quality.
Do you watch like
not necessarily the
one movie a day, like two? How many do you pack in? Because each one's a commitment, you know.
I don't know the average. I really don't know because it's not consistent. So during film festival stuff, I'm watching like probably 4 a day, and also when I'm making my like top 10 lists, I'm watching like maybe 5, maybe more a day, depending on the runtime.
Jesus.
But usually, like if I'm in the middle of, you know, if I'm at a certain point in the process on like one of my larger YMS reviews or something, it's literally just I'm editing for like weeks or whatever, and I'm not really watching movies. No.
Okay. Holy fuck!
No.
I would have to take like horse Ritalin to even have a chance to even be in the ballpark of being able to do that. Holy shit! I can't even. I sometimes have trouble with just the one movie. I feel like an old man. Oh, they changed this map up. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I'm still waiting to notice the changes here. I haven't seen a change yet.
Yeah, you're just yeah, we get it. You're just ahead of me. Okay, all right.
What?
I've been I've been practicing.
I would have noticed the change already if I'm right behind you. Actually, I see you.
Nice, go team.
I'm still waiting for the big Yeetus.
Oh, we'll get there. Whew. Presidential debates are coming up.
I made it past the first round.
Nice. Presidential debates are coming up in just 2 weeks now, I think. Thereabouts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They should host it on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, you know, I'm honestly not that opposed to the idea.
Me neither. I don't think, you know, as much as Joe has said that he would rather have Trump over Biden because he feels like Biden is too far gone mentally, I feel like if Trump was on Joe Rogan, whether in a debate or even in a personal interview, Joe Rogan's the person to actually like challenge him on certain things. And he's also a person that connects with conservatives in a way where like his challenges wouldn't be considered as like just Trump bad, unwarranted, you know, that whole thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like if Trump was on Joe Rogan and he actually addressed some criticisms with him, that would be something where conservatives would actually take it seriously.
Yeah, I agree with that because Joe Rogan is kind of like the avatar of the working class in America. I mean, he's uber wealthy, but he's incredibly popular, and his rhetoric and presentation and style are very, very much like average Joe kind of appeal. So if he criticizes Trump, the right can't call him like a rhino, cuck-servative, cuck piece of shit leftist, because if they do, they alienate a huge number of independent or undecided voters that sort of act through Joe. And likewise, I feel like Rogan is not that biased, but such between them that he would try to like score cheap political points by appealing to one group or the other, you know?
What do you think of Joe Rogan in general? What's your stance?
I think he's kind of a dumbass, and he's of all his failings.
Okay, yeah, but like, what do you think of like his character though? Because like most people are dumbasses.
Yeah, I guess.
I think most people on the planet are dumbasses.
I think that
I think what's more important is like whether or not somebody has malicious intent, right?
There are
I think he's a genuinely like well-meaning guy.
There are some things that he's done that make me view him very negatively. One of them is he seems to be pretty maliciously transphobic. There have been times where his persistence in dead naming.
I think that's like mostly his MMA background, though, right?
That could,
like his,
that could be it.
Thing,
but
right?
MMA backgrounds do tend to make people dipshits. So,
I think most of the time I've heard him like talk about trans people has been in the context of of like sports.
Yeah, because that's the easy way to get
I don't know if I've actually heard him
on.
talk about trans people outside of the context of sports. So I think that's mostly the lens that he's viewing it through.
In my mind, I think he thinks trans people are kind of ridiculous. That I imagine that is what he imagines. But my biggest issue, and I'm happy I learned this, is he lied. He postured about COVID. He was doing this whole he was doing this whole oh, you're a pussy if you do the mask mandate kind of thing. Like, oh, everyone's. Me too. Everyone's overblowing this, that kind of thing. But reports have come, he himself is terrified of COVID. He's been hyper-obsessively sterilizing everything, having everyone checked before they see him, and it makes it seem like he's posturing.
Yeah, I know that people get tested before they come in the studio. But I haven't heard his exact quotes on, like, I guess his opinions on masks. I've heard him talk, I saw that clip with him and Bill Burr, where Bill Burr called him an idiot, which was really funny. He's
just on the standard like masculine bro, like, oh, if you wear a mask you're a pussy beta kind of thing. But then he's apparently obsessively sanitizing his shit. So it makes me feel like he's like fragile, and he doesn't want to like own up to backing off the posturing he does, so he kind of hides it. That bothers me. I really don't like that in people.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But in other respects,
I haven't seen a lot of it. Like, I don't watch him that often. I see clips here and there, but I'm on his subreddit, and I remember a point in time where people were basically every post in the comments you'd see people heckling him over how unseriously he was taking COVID. Yeah,
Joe Rogan's subreddit's a pretty fucking wild one. They've done some pretty wacky posts about me.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen them.
There are a lot of Nazis in Joe Rogan's subreddit. I think it's just a poorly moderated.
Do they get
subreddit.
like upvoted much? Like, because you probably get linked them, right? No matter how many upvotes they have.
Well, I made a video on his subreddit after the front page was hit by a video of a Nazi doing a minstrel show that they all thought was hilarious. So I did a video on how it's not that funny, guys, and they got real mad at me. So I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, the wacky. Do they do minstrel shows in Canada? Is that a unique American export?
Define what that is.
You know, like a white guy painting his face with shoe shine and dressing silly and acting out the stereotype of a black guy.
Oh. I'm not aware of what this is.
Okay, I think this is an American thing. Yeah. It's not good. It's not a great thing.
You're just like, were you just describing blackface? Because I mean, like our prime minister, maybe. But
yeah, it's blackface. Plus, you do a show where the punchline is that you're really dumb because you're black.
Oh wait, I think I know what post you're talking. It's like lodged in the back of my memory, and I'm trying to. Oh my god!
It was on Omegle.
It's somewhere. It's somewhere in my memory. I can't. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember exactly what it is though.
Gotcha. Well, it's not. It's not
I've
good.
Seen it.
You know. So whatever the case may be. Yeah, apparently this is a uniquely American export. But we've tried to stop doing it. We're working on it.
Hit Parade.
We're gonna bop you.
I still haven't seen the Big Yeetus.
Yeah, no, we keep getting the same maps.
So, like, there's updated versions of the maps at random.
Yeah, sometimes
basically.
It plays the updated
we just haven't
ones.
hit.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Cool. Don't get in my way.
Fuck.
Goodbye.
It's actually not that much slower to go below.
Nah, it's by a very small margin.
Oh. Yeah, I'm noticing the slight difference that you mentioned last time. Those things were lower. Oh wait, now these are going the opposite direction. Okay.
Yeah, these things are swinging.
I get it.
The other way too.
Yeah.
Just a lot of little.
Very slight differences.
It's fun though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I don't know. There's enough. It's not like you start in the same position every time, so it's not like you could just memorize the map with muscle memory or anything.
Yeah. Oh, plus you're always bouncing all over the place. You have You have merch, right?
Barely. I really like. I'm really bad at merch. It's like really basic.
Gotcha.
It's just
well,
like
it does
two
feel
different T-shirts.
silly.
One says YMS and one says 6 out of 10.
It does feel silly.
I'm just mostly
doesn't it?
focused on the content.
To like make merch.
Yeah, no, I get it, and like I understand. I buy T-shirts of things that I want to support. But yeah, to actually make good merch feels like it would be a commitment of time that would be taking away from the content itself, which is why I haven't really made too much of a focus on that.
Gotcha. I recently got a content manager. I was going to start making some pins and shirts, so I was just wondering if you had any experiences in that realm, any learned lessons.
Yeah, I just Teespring is I don't know how they turn out. They're probably fine.
I will be avoiding them. I can't. I'm a lefty YouTuber. You know, if I went with Teespring or some other outfit like that, people would be real cross with me.
What's the controversy?
Oh, just the really exploitative companies. They steal art designs. They get all their T-shirts from shit.
Oh, is that
factories.
a Teespring thing?
Is it Teespring specifically, or I might be thinking of Redbubble?
I feel like I know what you're talking about. I don't know if that's associated with Teespring though.
Gotcha. I'd have to look more into it. I
No, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Teespring is more like of a. I think they're more like focused on content creator kind of stuff. But there's other T-shirt websites, like I know Redbubble has a lot of like copyrighted shit that they shouldn't, where just a bunch of people decide to print a shirt or whatever that they don't own the rights to.
Yeah.
Reminds
me
God
of.
Damn it.
It reminds me of some guy who did an AMA on Reddit because he was wealthy. He was a self-made millionaire, and he made his money by no shit just abusing those sites like Redbubble and those other like put up your own art design starts, and he would put like unlicensed stuff on them and just sell them and not worry about it. So like keep calm and carry on, the British slogan during World War II. He'd throw them on everything. Outlet covers for electronic sockets, shoes, T-shirts, headband, everything. Just throw it up, put it up, doesn't matter. And he just generated a fuck ton of income with no work.
I think one of the websites where people sell a lot of shit from other creators without credit is like Etsy or something like that. I've heard about that anyway.
Oh, are you dead?
Yeah, I'm dead. I'm gonna try and find your guy.
Oh no. I'm the white dove. I'm gonna make it through this for you, okay?
1290. There we go. Found you.
No.
Man, the first day I played this game, I kicked ass, and then it's just been a very sad decline after that point. I think maybe I got really lucky.
Can't rely on beginner's luck forever. Hold on.
Yeah.
Please. No more hits. No.
Oh, you got this.
Okay.
All right. Made it to the final round, I guess.
Okay, my partner is saying stolen T-shirt designs get put pretty much everywhere, so we'll try to avoid that, I guess. We got this.
How long are you playing this for, by the way?
Probably gonna go another 20, 25, 30 minutes. You can drop whenever you want, of course. You're not bound here.
No, I'm messaging a friend that I'll be connecting with after.
Gotcha.
Just giving them a time frame.
I've fulfilled my social threshold. I had a debate just like a little bit before you came on.
What was it about?
We talked about Black Lives Matter, whether or not race is real, and capitalism and socialism. I think it was pretty wacky. It was a pretty wacky discussion. Wait, hold up! I'm in front. Hold up! Hold up!
Yeah, you are. This can happen. Don't get hit by the ball. Fuck that guy.
No!
Oh shit.
Yes.
Well, he got hit too. There's somebody on the left that might be a bit further.
Oh my god. They added a lot of stuff.
This looks slightly more chaotic than the other times I've done this map.
No!
Oh god. Yeah, that guy's got it.
But he fucked it up!
Dove! Nope! Oh my god! Fuck!
Fuck!
You're right behind him.
Ah! Oh,
wow. So is the Cheater Island a real thing, or was that just a meme?
I think it's just a meme, or I haven't seen any real evidence of it.
Like, do they get banned, or do they just still get to keep playing in their own little spot?
Well, that'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that would be, like, a very interesting way to combat that problem.
Oh, wait, some people are saying it's real? It's real, but they stopped it. Okay.
Oh.
Ah, well. Yes, the cheater ethno-state. Ah. Are there any games you're hyped up for at the moment?
I think I mentioned this to you last time. I have not played the Witcher series, but I'm actually looking forward to Cyberpunk. Demon's Souls PS4.
Oh yeah,
should be fun.
Absolutely, it looks beautiful.
I mean PS5. That's what I meant. What else is coming out? I'm not excited for Halo Infinite, but I'll play it.
Really? Why not?
Because 343 Industries fucking sucks. They don't know what to do. I mean, like, Bungie even, like... I mean, at least they still made somewhat good playable games, but... Basically, 343 Industries... Bungie created the original Halo. They did Halo 1, 2, 3, and then Reach. And then they were like, yeah, we don't want to just make Halo games forever, despite how much Microsoft wants us to. So then they did their own thing. And then Microsoft literally created a game studio called 343 Industries, 343 being a reference to the character 343 Guilty Spark in Halo, specifically to create Halo games with an entire team of people that did not work on the other Halo games and are just
unethical,
literally
like raising a zombie.
Trying their best to, like, not even just unethical, but just, like, stupid. Yeah. They don't understand what made it work well. It's the same thing with, like, remaking movies, right? Like, you can have a director for hire and be like, okay, tackle this IP that we own the rights to, signed studio, or whatever. But if the director isn't a fan of the original property to begin with, it's probably going to turn out like shit, because they don't understand what made the original successful. And even fans of the original material still don't understand, majority of the time still don't understand what made the original successful.
Haven't you seen Spike Lee's take on Old Boys? I mean, sometimes film remakes can be okay.
Yeah. So good. The best remake.
Yeah, the 343 shit sounds like, Oh,
I found Big Eatus. Oh, yeah. That didn't work out.
I'm gonna try it. That's
okay,
not it.
Maybe I have to jump when I do it. Okay, I'm gonna try it one more time. Everybody's trying it.
Fuck.
Okay, well, I got yeeted, but it seems like a bad strat. I'm gonna let everybody else do this.
I don't know if we're gonna make it.
There's not that many people ahead of us.
Yeah, the 343 shit sounds like the family dog died, so you take the family cat and you, like, dress it in its skin, you know? Like a very cursed attempt at recapturing the magic.
And Halo 4 wasn't terrible. It was the wrong idea in ways. Did you make it? Oh, you qualified. Perfect. Their ideas with, I guess, both aesthetics and, like, enemy choices, it was fine by the end of it. Halo 5 was literally fucking unplayable. I am the biggest fucking Halo fan. I did not play past level 2 in Halo 5. It was the first Halo game that I didn't even finish. And I didn't get very far at all. It was just like, this isn't even fun. Like, what is this?
I've only ever played Halo 2. I played Halo 1 back, multiplayer, because they released it for Mac back when that was all I had. And I played Halo 2 because I got a second-hand Xbox from my mom's friend's kid. But I never played any of the other Halo games, and I never got that invested in the series.
I love Halo 1. Story and multiplayer, I love it.
Yeah.
Not just for nostalgic reasons. I think that cinematically, it's the best game.
We just tried playing it just a second ago on stream.
Oh yeah?
Well, chat goaded me into playing it on Legendary, and I found it interrupted my ability to have meaningful chat interactions. So I stopped.
Were you playing MCC?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you want to do co-op at some point, let me know.
Oh, well, please don't give my chat hope. Oh God, that's a bad enough.
I can carry you through legendary. I can do that solo.
I'll take your offer into
I said
consideration.
at some point. I'm not saying. I'm not making specific plans.
I'll take it into consideration. I don't know if my ego.
At some point means maybe 40 years from now.
That's cool. No, I get it.
And they'll all be dead by that point.
Yeah, posture without committing. I see how it is. I'll get good. I'll play on stream. I'll get real good. I'll carry you.
Yep.
God damn it, Fruit Shoot!
Yeah, I'm not, I don't have a good strat for this because it feels like completely random how well I do.
It really
does. How many fruits are in my way.
Yeah. Just stay to the sides, I guess.
Fuck it, I'm doing middle.
Go for it. Good start. Good start.
Fuck! Oh my god, I can't! I hate this one.
Yeah, it feels pretty bad. Oh god, I don't know.
Alright, I want a fruit to just knock out that group there. Jesus. 17 to qualify. Fuck!
We're fine. It's already 11 are already qualified.
Right,
you and I are the
somebody's just grabbing me at the back here. Yeah, we're done.
I'm taking you. I'm taking you with me. All right, we got this.
I'm trying to think of other games that are coming. Oh yeah, they're doing a
Amnesia?
Do you know Jonathan Blow?
I do know Jonathan Blow, yes.
Yeah, he's re-releasing Braid. They designed it from like the ground up basically. It's gonna be like much better quality. They said like, I don't know. There's a trailer for it out. I forget the exact number, but they're like 50 pixels for every 1 pixel in the original game. But what's super exciting about it is that they claim to have the most extensive and thorough developer's commentary on any game ever coming out for this game, which is super cool because like I've seen a lot of this guy's like talks online basically about like game development, and he's literally claiming like, yeah, if you want to know how to make a game, just watch the developer commentary for the Braid re-release coming out next year.
Sure,
which I think is super cool.
Yeah, well, while playing
like
the
a
original
small game
Braid,
too, so like supplementary material just being that, it seems great.
While playing the original Braid, that is definitely one of those games that I would love to play and think and try to figure out how the fuck it was made. I'm really excited for the new Amnesia game.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I didn't watch the trailer.
It looked better than A Machine for Pigs. Dude, I was so fucking disappointed.
That was a completely different team that made that. That's why.
Yeah. Because at first it sounded, I loved the concept of Machine for Pigs. I love it.
What was the concept?
The like deep beneath the bowels of London, a meat machine, you know, uses humans and pigs and what have you to produce the gears and oil needed.
I didn't even know that much about it, and I tried playing it and got bored.
Yeah, but the issue is everything. The original Amnesia was terrifying in large part because the stakes were real. If you don't have a light source in Amnesia, if you don't have oil for your lantern or tinder for the lights, you're fucking boned. You need to have those things.
Amnesia was like the first really great horror game that actively utilized the game mechanics in a way to specifically manipulate how people felt as they were playing it.
Yeah,
the whole, like,
diegetic
oh yeah,
horror.
you can't look at them. You have to like stare into the corner sort of thing. Like that's a very clever game mechanic for the emotions that you're trying to go for in the game.
Yeah, and
like that game, the first one is just super clever in how it's designed.
And it was a product of the game's mechanics themselves. Oh fuck, I think I'm boned here. We might have to...
Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah.
All right, I'll quit.
Me too. Because most horror games were, even games like Silent Hill, which were very, very good, of course, obviously. But even games like that mostly drew their horror out of these set pieces and the environment design and all of that. But the actual moment-to-moment terror was a customized experience designed by the developers. Whereas with Amnesia, the diegetic mechanics of the game created unique situations that you would have to plan around. If a monster came around a corner in like a weird way because its patrol route took you that way, that wasn't coded to happen. It just happened. Now you have to deal with it. And if you don't have any fucking oil or tinder, you're boned. With Machine for Pigs, they streamline everything. You can't die in Machine for Pigs. You have infinite light source. It's just a walking simulator.
Why even call it Amnesia?
Yeah, I don't know. The concept was so good, but they took away everything. No wonder they don't make you look at the monsters in Machine for Pigs, because once you learn, all they do is squeal and look menacing. Like, God. It's the ones in the original game fucking murdered you.
Yeah, I didn't make it very far into that one. I also wasn't a fan of Outlast 2. I kind of got bored on that one.
Outlast 2. Wait, chat, didn't I play Outlast 1 on stream, but then I stopped because I'm a pussy? Right? I did. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Did you like Outlast 1?
I enjoyed it for what it was.
Okay.
Not as good as Amnesia or anything, but
my main issue is that I am a pussy, so it didn't work out. You know how it is.
Do you get scared by horror films easily?
No, just the interactive element does it for me.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you mean. There's an extra layer there.
I do like it. I just get too jittery. Yeah. It's been a while since I've really enjoyed a horror game. Oh, I did play The Forest. Have you played The Forest?
No, I've heard of it. I know what it is, but I've not played it.
That was pretty good. That's one of those games where it starts out really scary, and but by the time you're ending the game, you're playing it like Minecraft survival mode, where everything that was previously terrifying is just another fun challenge to conquer.
Have you played Dead Space?
No, but people want me to do it on chat or on stream.
The first one's good. Many people think the second one's also good. I think it's
good
fine.
evening.
Third one, not really a horror game, but it's fun. It's kind of shitty fun.
Gotcha. People have been people have praised it really, really highly in my community. Wait, guys, sorry for the noise. I checked a YouTube video somebody linked. But I haven't seen much of it. Also, Mandalore Gaming really liked it, and I really respect his reviews.
I really liked the first one a lot. I don't know how much of a horror game I would call it. It's like sci-fi horror.
It's like thriller.
But also kind of action. Yeah. Like, I mean, you have means to defend yourself. But it's well constructed and creative. And I think it was one of the first games, maybe the first game, to incorporate the user interface as something that exists in the universe of the game.
I really like it when
basically,
that happens.
Yeah, it's, you know, the heads-up display and menu and everything is like physically taking place in the game, basically, which is kind of cool. Like your health is on your back.
Right, there's not like a UI
suit.
overlay that.
Yeah. Oh shit. Oh my god. I was so used to going up the left every time. In the center windmill.
Yeah, me too.
It screwed me over this time. Now that they've updated this.
Have you played Hollow Knight?
Yes.
Okay.
I've beaten it, and a lot of people are upset at me for not doing all the DLC. And maybe
the
I will
DLC is
someday.
really good.
Yeah, I've heard. I'll do it when I'm ready, which I don't know when that will be.
Totally valid. The Hollow Knight DLC culminates in some of maybe the most difficult material I've ever played in a game.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, they really ranked it the fuck up. In fact, vanilla Hollow Knight almost feels like a joke compared to the shit you have to do for full completion with the DLC. But it was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I can't say I was good at Hollow Knight, so...
Okay, we'll do co-op one day. I'll carry you.
Yeah, if they make co-op.
Gotta wait for Silksong. Maybe they will.
Yeah, maybe. So is that, like, you play as the that girl character, the Shaw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you play a
The
Shaw.
one who shouts that.
The cute little bug girl. They've made a ton of hentai about.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, it was a popular game. Somebody had to make porn of it, and there were only so many characters they could use. But yeah. Oh, dude, blue is dominating. Fuck yeah.
Good. No thanks to me. I screwed up some really easy ones.
Oh, no. No! Fuck!
As long as we're not red, we're fine. We're tied for the lead. Doing good.
Oh,
I got
wait.
one.
Sand Chap, point out, you're a furry. Have you seen Beastars?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
Okay, cool. Did you like it?
And not because I'm a furry.
Okay, well, I'm sorry for...
I mean, probably because I'm a furry.
It's quite good, isn't it?
I don't know if I would have seen it. It's anime, so I don't know if I would have seen it. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's it's like Zootopia meets Twilight, basically.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, animation's great.
Apparently the manga's really good too, but I haven't gotten around to looking at it myself. Another anthro anime I enjoyed that I haven't finished. I only saw the first 6 episodes of because they released it in 2 segments. Was BNA or Brand New or BNH?
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, it's BNA. I saw the first episode. It was pretty cool. My roommate binged it really quickly. I might catch the rest of it at some point.
Gotcha.
But
I guess I'll have
Beastars
to.
Is a lot better from. I mean, just from the first episode of that.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I'm a big fan of the Studio Trigger, which was responsible for BNA. Oh, fuck, wait, we're about to lose. Oh, no.
Really?
No.
How did that happen? What the fuck?
We were doing so good.
We were doing so good.
No!
I didn't even look at the score. What
Damn
happened? Red was... How did they catch up so quick?
Fuck them. There are gold rings. I don't know how much more they're worth than the regular one.
Oh, yeah, that might do it. I forgot about the gold rings.
We got this. I feel like I'm getting worse at this game.
I said that earlier. I agree.
No, it's true. It's happening.
I'm gonna pee real quick. I'll be like
Hey, go.
30 seconds.
Howdy, chat. Sake, thanks to 10 bucks. I dumpstered a Riven as Scion, then said playing Riven in 2020 is like unironically voting Trump in order to make more of the Democrats move left in November. True! Imagine playing Riven at any point. True, Dango, true. Pooh Sawda's the 5 bucks. Thank you very, very much, comrade. Also true. Randar the Barbarian with 3 bucks. Jay-Z 2 cents released the testing today. Looks like what the 2080 Ti does at 1080p, the 3080 can do at 1440p. Seems lit to me. Well, it's not like money is an issue for me, so maybe I could do that. I just accidentally clicked out a dono. If I don't read your donation this stream, feel free to email me and tell me I'm bad. Johnny Be Good, thanks to 5 bucks. Duly noted. Jack with a very kind tier 1 sub. Thank you very, very much. I'll keep that in mind. Jack Attack LP, thanks to 2 bucks. Duly noted. Title Punk Roller Girl, thank you very much for the 5 bucks. Good luck with your referral for bottom surgery. Holy shit, absolutely. Get your goon customized. That's their words,
Hello.
not mine. Howdy. Sorry, just running through donos.
Yeah, you better apologize.
Gotta keep them satisfied. I don't know why the fuck
are
I
you
ever
located
started
in
doing this.
Seattle?
Yeah.
How's your air quality right now?
I haven't gone outside in a few days. It's shit. AQI is
bad here
240.
too.
Yeah. Wait, what's the AQI today? Hold on, let me check. I haven't checked. Yeah, I see the wildfires extended north past the border. How much? How do you know what the AQI is over in your neck of the woods?
It's pretty bad. I don't know. There's a noticeable difference outside.
174.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess you could look it up. I don't know what the AQI is.
Air quality index.
Yeah, I have no idea.
We've got to start.
I heard that being outside, although they didn't specify for what length, but there was like a little article tabloid thing being like it's the equivalent of smoking 8 cigarettes. It's like, I don't know for how much.
We've just
time
had all our windows closed and the AC running. Not that we have any need to go outside, right? I mean, we're fully automated millennial men. We can just sit inside and have people deliver shit to us.
Yeah, my AC is like a window unit, so
Gotcha.
I've had to make decisions. It's too warm for me. I can't sleep when it's too warm.
I guess you're not that much farther north.
Like, I guess there's technically, yeah, not very far. There's technically a filter on my AC window unit, so.
Oh yeah, your AC should be filtering everything that runs through it.
I just don't know, like, there's probably like degrees of like what a filter can do. And I don't know if they're built for smoke. And I've used the AC in my room for sure. And despite that, it's still noticeably better than outside.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's probably fine for the most part, hopefully. Because, yeah, I just can't sleep if it's too warm.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And fans only do so much.
I remember my Los Angeles home, my family home, didn't have air conditioning. And, I mean, it didn't used to get as hot as it is now, but now, I remember back before I left for college just 4 or so years ago, it could get like 105, 106, and I would just have to like lay on the bed and just slowly melt into the comforter. It's pretty bad. Thank God I'm nearly 1,000 miles north now.
What's the furthest north you've been?
I think where I am, right? Yeah. Japan isn't
Never
further
been to Canada?
north. No, I've never been to Canada.
Japan is not further north, I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so I think right where I am. Or I guess the last time I missed my exit on the 5 and drove up further north in Seattle than I needed to. Somewhere there.
I grew up in Edmonton, Alberta, and you could actually see like the Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis.
I got fucking murdered!
Oh, you died?
Sorry. I didn't die, I was killed!
Oh, okay. I mean, technically when you are killed, you die still.
That is true. That is what happened as I was killed. I did die.
All right. Well, it's only this round and then the next one, so I'll stay in.
Is that true? Oh, I wouldn't have.
There's only...
Stop spectating.
Oh, wait. Actually, it says eliminated out of 14. Never mind. I thought there was 14 total. So, which round is this?
I think you're on the second round.
Okay, I can just quit then. Boop.
I'd normally protest, but I left the spectating.
Okay.
Was it self-defense? It was not self-defense. I posed no threat to that motherfucker, and he still took me out. Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
I've got time for one more attempt. Sure. We're very good. We're very good at this game.
I was in Iqaluit, way up north, for a couple months, and it was like literally so far north where the sun never set. It was very interesting.
Nice. That's actually pretty far north. Sorry, I've been brought my cat, and he is with me now. He's so heavy.
Pussy stream.
Oh, absolutely. There you go. Well, I know you can't see him, but he says hi.
Oh, I can see him. I've got the thing on mobile.
Gotcha. Okay. I love you, Bumby, but I can't lose. Okay. Good luck, Bumby.
Bumby.
Bumby? He's got lots of names. You, wait, do you have pets?
Oh. No, just roommates who might pretend to be pets.
Gotcha. Who shit on the floor sometimes?
Yeah.
Who are your roommates, by the way? I know this is probably deep lore. I'd know if I'd seen every podcast episode or whatever. Are they like college friends or?
Just furries.
Gotcha.
So the city that I live in right now, I didn't grow up in. I moved here when I turned like 21 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a furry, it's really easy to make new friends because you're a part of the community. And then, you know, time passes. Some people are looking for a house. You get along well enough with them, and all of a sudden you have a furry house, even though that necessarily wasn't the goal.
Nice. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about that, about how, I know this is the case for general LGBT communities, and I know the furries got a lot of LGBT folk there, but the sense of
it's like
community,
a big family.
Yeah, the sense of community there is like insanely strong.
Yeah.
Which is why I always, to say to like people who are lonely as they move into college, like buy a tail butt plug.
Yeah, just be a furry.
Be a furry. And they'll naturally move towards a more sociable state.
Yeah, any like niche interest or subculture. Although furries in particular is like a really, like it's a really big family because there's like so many conventions and shit too, and you know people travel from all over the world, and you recognize familiar faces, and you know it's at the point where like I see like a news article in some like completely different city, with like a photograph or like some news report, like on cable or something of like, oh, a furry convention. I'm like, I know this person, I know this person, I know this person, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, and like, what's funny about it is like a lot of people have this weird misconception. A lot of people that, you know, how could they possibly know if they're not a part of the subculture? Where they're just like, oh yeah, it's like all anonymous. Like, you don't know who's behind the suit, but it's like people know who's behind the suit. Like we all know who each other are for the most part. Unless it's like a fanboy, fangirl kind of thing. Like some people have like popular suits and people are just fans of the suits, I guess. But
yeah, we when we first came up to Seattle like a real long time ago, we were on a date, and we were driving around. We saw, oh god, am I gonna make this? Oh no, I'm not gonna make this. I'm watching you. Fuck.
We can try one more time if you have time for one more.
You want to try for one more? Here, okay, let's try.
Yeah.
Let's make it out of the first round. Okay, I got fucked by the placement on that one. Anyway, we were on a date. I think we were gonna see the Joker that day. But we were driving around and we saw some people in fursuits. We saw one, we thought, oh cool. We saw two, we thought, okay, something's happening. We parked nearby one of the big hotels, and we visited the sort of outside portion of a little fur con they were doing there. And my partner, Hyena,
which city?
Which one was it, Hyena? Which they'll let me know in a second. But my partner actually recognized a couple of the people there. They claim not to be a furry, you know, vehemently, but they recognized some of these people, and some of them recognized me, so it was cool.
Which city?
Oh, it was in Seattle.
Oh, what year?
I think this would have been around the time Joker was out, so it must have been 2020, right?
Oh, okay. So it wasn't Rainforest.
No, I'm still waiting on Hyena to inform me. Anthro Northwest.
Oh yeah, the new one.
It was little, wasn't super big.
Yeah, they're trying to revive things in Seattle after the disaster that was Rainforest.
Wait! What happened?
Oh, you don't know? It's like a big meme. It's like, it basically, like, if you want to discredit furries as a whole, you'll look up Rainforest, basically. So Rainforest was
I remember diapers.
SeaTac convention that I frequented. Problem was, out of all the conventions I've ever been to, it was the most lax on, I guess, rules and authority and people. Basically, everyone who's ever been banned from any other convention was still allowed there. And eventually, because of that, it just turned into this, like, really bad environment, I guess, where if you're attending the convention normally, you wouldn't even notice. But there were enough people there that were just, like, complete fucking shit disturbers that were, like, vandalizing and just being like absolute pieces of shit. And also like, so Internet Historian actually made a video on rainforest. You know, it's just deemed as like this disaster of a
this
convention.
is the throwing used diapers on cars one, right?
See,
I vividly remember.
Yeah, I gotta disagree with that one. I gotta disagree with that one because there is one Twitter account, and I'm not going to name them, but you'll notice that they show up several times in these like, oh, look what happened at Rainforest. They go to other conventions, they do the same fucking thing. There's literally like, you have to understand that like a large part, not a large part, but like a significant amount of furries are also part of like this like deeper internet culture, also kind of like Chan culture sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
And because of that, there's a lot of furries that are kind of just like trolls, and they're just looking for attention. They're looking for clicks. A lot of furries are like super active on Twitter, and all they want is retweets. And so there's furries that exist out there that literally their only goal is to like get attention and cause drama, sort of thing. And there's one Twitter account.
We're getting
and I'm sure
annihilated, by the way.
Yeah, I know. There's one Twitter account that I'm thinking of specifically in regards to Rainforest, that posted a lot of fake shit, and they do this at every convention they're at, where they will set up what they're about to take a photo of, basically.
Yeah.
And then take a photo. So they'll put the diaper on the car, and they'll be like, oh, look, somebody did this, and pretend like they... You know, pretend like they just came across it. There's like another tweet from them at a separate convention where they're like, look, somebody's pissing on the floor in the lobby, and it's literally just their friend like faced the other way. They're not actually pissing, they're just like pretending to. And they do this at every convention they're at. And unfortunately with Rainforest, like there's, even in the Internet Historian video, and I'm friends with him, and I've like talked with him about this after, just being like, yeah, that wasn't true, it came from this source who's literally just there to pretend things happened that didn't. There's so much of a telephone game when it comes to furries. Mm-hmm. I guess we'll exit this and I'll finish off my little rant.
Much like Sandy Hook, it was a deep state plant with crisis actors.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but I mean, like there's reasons why it got canceled. There was vandalism for sure. There was vandalism, and like in general, like there were people that just like did not understand or respect boundaries or like proper like social understandings, right? Yeah. And there was a lot of cringe going on that like the general public should not be subjected to, or even the majority of furries, honestly. But about like half of the things that people understand to be like true about Rainforest are literally just people on Twitter being like, this happened, but they did it to get the retweets. I'm not even kidding. Like I can guarantee you that.
No, I don't doubt it. I mean, there's a lot of internet clout to be had in being the person to unveil the furry
like,
degeneracy.
Put a diaper on a fucking car, take a picture, and then take it off, or maybe leave it there because they're pieces of shit. Who knows? But yeah, there's people that like literally actively just go to conventions and do shit like that, which honestly, like, they should probably just be banned from conventions if they're going to do that. But
and that could have been,
just didn't ban enough people.
That could have been a designated diaper car. We don't know either, which is the thing. That could have been where it belonged.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the fucking weird thing too about it, is like there was like in the furry community, there's like subsections, obviously. Like furry is like a overarching kind of umbrella, in the same way that like just being male or something is, right? That doesn't define everything you're into or every one of your interests or like your social, political, financial, anything, right? Furry is just a gigantic umbrella. But at Rainforest specifically, basically there's been this debate in the furry community. You know how like lolly is basically just like generally accepted in anime. There's been more of a debate in the furry community over like sort of like age play, kind of like, you know, fictional still, but like that kind of whole thing.
Yeah.
And so whereas this has been sort of like banned from most conventions, like Anthrocon is totally sanitized. Most conventions will be like, yeah, like whatever, do your own thing. Just like we're not gonna like promote that at our convention sort of thing. Rainforest was like, oh yeah, like baby furs can do whatever they want here, and so that was what kind of like brought out this whole like diaper thing. Was like this was essentially like the baby fur convention, even though it wasn't like advertised as that. It was just a regular convention.
Well, if you have your doors open to people like that, it will become that convention.
In the same sense that like a lot of these alternative free speech platforms like Vote or Gab in concept are not necessarily destined to be just like alt-right hubs, but because everybody else has disallowed that and they're the ones that allow it, then that's what it just winds up turning into, sort of thing. And so like I attended the convention because it was like close and my friends, 3-hour drive from Vancouver, and it was fun. But it was also like, even just being there, it was like I'm not surprised it got shut down, because like it was, out of every other convention I went to, it was like, okay, this is the one where everybody's on drugs. Like this is the drugs convention.
Thank you.
There were like no rules.
Based COVID-19 for stopping all conventions around the world, and therefore sparing us any more of that.
Yeah,
I do look forward to them again. I was looking forward to Anime Expo 2020. A bunch of
anime.
Anyway, I have to be responsible and read donos. I don't know why I committed to doing that. This was a good idea back when I had like 100 viewers, not more. Thank you so much for playing with me, man.
No problem. If you don't want me to have to donate to get your attention, then DM me your cell phone number to text you with.
I will take your offer into consideration. Gotta buy a burner.
Have a good night.
Good luck.
Bye.